What's good, everyone? Welcome to this video here. I'm going to be predicting Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. We're about a week away. Kind of recording this out of nowhere. Sorry if you hear some background noises, but I really wanted to talk about this. I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. He's one of my favorite artists there is, and I'm really excited for the halftime show next week. I'm also a super big football fan. Hate the Birds. Let's go Chiefs. That's besides the point. I'm looking forward to the halftime show because I really appreciate Kendrick Lamar. I really appreciate his performances. I really appreciate him as an artist. And I wanted to make this video kind of to break down what are my predictions on what song is going to be played at the halftime show. So how this is going to work is I kind of broke this down into tiers. You know, I kind of have like, this is what I think are like likely performances, songs that we might see, more unlikely, and then I'm going to be like, these are the guaranteed songs we're going to see at the show. I got a couple of them. So we're going to go through, break down for each tier, and I'll explain sort of my thought process on why I think this song is in this tier, how much of a chance it would have. I also made a playlist on Spotify with all of these songs, except for the first tier that I'm going to go over, because the first tier is kind of like a really, really long shot. I don't think they're going to make it there. But every other song I have in a playlist of likely Kendrick Lamar songs on Spotify. I linked that in the description, so give it a spin. Get yourself ready for the halftime show. Get hyped. I'm pretty hyped for it. So K-Dot performed a couple years ago with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and some other friends. It was a pretty good performance, but he only performed 2 songs. And I'm going to talk about those 2 songs because they are both on this list. But the rest of them are all up for grabs. He's obviously released a lot of new discography since then. Mr. Morale, GNX, obviously the feud between him and Drake, which I think we might see some of those songs potentially. But let's get to it, man. Let's get this shit started. We're going to go from the least likely to the most likely. And yeah, let's fucking get to it. My first tier here is called not 0%, but not 5%. And what I mean by that is I don't think that these tracks are likely going to be there, like almost definitely not going to be there, but they don't have a 0% chance, but it's not as high as a 5%, maybe like a 1-2% chance of being there. Kendrick has a lot of tracks that are kind of out there. His discography is very artistic. He has a lot of tracks that aren't very easily accessible. Like, we're not going to see Auntie Diaries at the halftime show. We're not going to see Fear, as much as I love that, at the halftime show. There's a lot of tracks like that we're not going to see at the halftime show. But these are tracks here that I think have a very, very, very low chance. And I'd honestly be shocked. I'd be like, yo, this song's playing? But it could happen. The first of these I have is I from To Pimp a Butterfly. I think this song is like pretty easily accessible. I think I could see it at the halftime show if this song was a little more popular. I don't think this is one of Kendrick's like biggest hits. I think it's kind of a deep cut off of not Mr. Morale, rather, To Pimp a Butterfly. It's a deep cut. In that album, the song is actually performed live. The single was sort of a different version. I don't really see this happening. Almost definitely not going to happen, but it's possible. It's like I said, 1% chance of this song being performed. Other song we have, and it's a little bit shocking because this song is very popular of his, and that's Love off of Damn. I think this is one of Kendrick's like biggest hits off of Damn. I mean, that album is kind of filled with most of his biggest hits. I think the issue with this is I don't think this song is very Super Bowl friendly. I just don't really see it happening. It doesn't really bring that energy. But it's not like this one actually probably could happen, but I just don't see it happening. It's also personally not one of my favorite Kendrick songs, so I'm all right with it not being there. The last song I have in this list of not 0%, but also not 5%, is N95 off of Mr. Morale. This is a moderate hit of Kendrick's. It's hard for me to say. I feel like it was written and designed to be a hit, but it didn't really catch on like I think he expected to. This isn't one of my favorite songs of the Mr. Morale. It's okay. It's pretty catchy. I've actually heard this a lot in like movie trailers and in other media, and I think like it works well for that, but I just don't think it works super well for a halftime show, especially because it's just not one of his bigger hits. Like, he has a lot more hits than this, so I don't think this one's gonna happen. But it's, you know, hey, it's a 1% chance, maybe 2% chance. We'll see. Could happen. The next tier I have here is called Long Shot, but Possible. And what I mean here is these are a bit of a long shot songs that could make it to the Super Bowl halftime show. And, you know, It's most likely not, but it's possible. Much more possible than the 3 songs I mentioned before. The first song I have in this tier list is Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. I think that this song is really popular. It's one of kind of Kendrick's classics. I just think that it's not super Superbowl friendly. It's a little bit more of a low-key kind of vibe. And I think Kendrick's going to have a lot more, like, you know, songs that sort of show off his versatility in rapping. I just don't see this one being there. But hey, it's possible. Another one I got in Long Shot, but possible, is Like That. His Like That verse off of the Future Metro Boomin project from last year. I would love to hear Kendrick's Like That verse. This is one I would absolutely like lose my mind if he played it there. And I think it is possible just because of how new it is, and of course it's a huge hit. So I think that one is possible, but it is definitely a long shot. The other one I got in Long Shot but possible is Backseat Freestyle. I think that this is kind of a big like normie Kendrick song. I just think that it's sort of a little bit deep in his discography. You know, I don't think this would be like one of his songs because obviously he chooses. Because obviously one thing you gotta realize is the Super Bowl show is short, right? It's usually like 15 minutes. Plus we know SZA, might be another guest, who knows? He's kind of been hitting at that. So he's not gonna have time to play a lot of songs. I think he's gonna be very, very picky on what songs he's gonna choose, and that's why I don't see Backseat Freestyle being there. But it's possible. The last one I got is it's actually a SZA song. 30 for 30 just came out on her SOS Deluxe a couple months back, and this song is like super popular. It's like the most popular track off that album and one of the most popular songs going around right now. I think this just wouldn't really play super well at the Super Bowl, but Kendrick and SZA are definitely gonna have a song together. I mean, they're gonna have to. So this one, you know, it's a bit of a long shot, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if it showed up. The next tier we're gonna explore here is the It Might Happen. You know, it might happen. What I mean by these is pretty simple. It might happen, right? If I hear these songs at the halftime show, I wouldn't be surprised. It might happen. First song we got on this one is King Kunta of To Pimp a Butterfly. This is one of Kendrick's biggest hits. It's a fan favorite. People fucking love this song. And I think that it might happen. It might happen. I could see him, you know, maybe doing the first verse off of this one, maybe the chorus. I don't know, like a little snippet of it. I don't see him doing like a lot of this song. But I think this is one that he could definitely do. The next I have and might happen is Money Trees. Again, another like huge Kendrick hit. People again go fucking crazy for the song. This one I think might happen. I think we could see a verse. I think we could, you know, you might just even get the chorus. You know what I mean? Like the pre-chorus and the chorus. That within itself is like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So you might get that. I'm actually gonna bundle the next two together because both of these songs I would put in the like almost the top tier if they haven't been performed before. And this is All Right and Mad City from To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City, respectively. I just think that these songs are It Might Happen only because they've been performed at the Super Bowl before. These are the two songs that Kendrick performed in the Super Bowl a couple years back. And I just think that it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that he does these songs again. You know, it could happen. I just think that he'd want to kind of pick different songs that he didn't perform at the Super Bowl previously. I would kind of be disappointed if a lot of these songs took up a lot of time at the Super Bowl because I've already heard them perform this before. Not to say these songs both are really good. I think it'd be all great to hear these songs again. I just think that because it's a limited time, you know, it might be best to not perform these. And I think because of that, it might happen. It might happen. The last I have in the It Might Happen is All the Stars featuring SZA. This is one of Kendrick's biggest tracks ever. And I think because, of course, we know SZA's going to be there. Out of all the It Might Happens, I think this has probably the best chance just because SZA's going to be there. And Kendrick and SZA only have a handful of songs together. And this is probably their most popular. Actually, not even might be. It is their most popular. So it might happen. The next category I have here is Good Chance, right? There's a good chance we're going to hear these songs. If I was a betting man, I'd put some money that we're going to see these ones. The first track I got in Good Chance is DNA. I think that this is a huge hit for Kendrick. I think it is Super Bowl friendly. I think it really shows off his technical prowess. I could see it just being the first verse, even though I would love to hear the second verse of this track. I think the second half of DNA is fantastic, and I think it would play really, really well at the Super Bowl. But I could see him just doing the first verse. But I think there's a good chance we hear DNA. Another track I think we have a good chance of hearing is Swimming Pools off of Good Kid, Mad City. This is, like, again, certified Kendrick classic. We talk to Kendrick normies, they always bring up Swimming Pools. I think this has a very, very good chance of being at the Super Bowl. Another track that has a good chance of being at the Super Bowl is Hey Now from his newest album, GNX. This song has actually been used for promotional material for the Super Bowl. I know you might think, well, if it's been used for promotional material, that means it's definitely being played. And what I would say to that was, my fucking weird-ass brain can't remember a lot of shit. But for some reason, I remember when they were promoting the Super Bowl the Super Bowl halftime show that Kendrick was in a couple years back. And I remember for the promotional material, they were using Humble. And Humble was never performed at the Super Bowl, but they used that as promotional material. I mean, I remember that. So it's possible, just because they use that doesn't mean it's going to be played, but it's a good chance. It's a very good chance that Hey Now is played at the halftime show. It's a bop. It plays really well. It's very accessible. So I think this one has a very good chance. Another song that I think has a good chance out of all these songs in this list is going to be Element. I think Element is a very, very good chance. This one almost could be put in the next tier. I think Element is very, very accessible. It's really, really popular. And I think that we're probably going to hear this one. The last one I got in this tier list, a good chance, is a Kendrick and SZA song off of GNX, Luther. This is the most popular song off of GNX. And I think this is an extremely good chance. I think that, I don't know how many songs Kendrick and SZA are going to perform together. They're going to have at least one crossover. And if they do, I think this is the best chance that this is the one they're going to do. I think Luther is a really, really great track, and I think that it plays very well for a mainstream audience. I think this has a very good chance of being there. All right, my next tier is Extremely Likely. You're going to hear these songs. I would be very, very surprised if you don't hear these songs. The first one we got in the Extremely Likely is Humble. I think we're going to hear Humble. You know, it's Kendrick's most accessible, most popular song. I just think that we're going to hear this one, guys. You know, I think this is extremely likely. I would almost be shocked if we don't hear Humble at the Super Bowl halftime show. And the other one I have in Extremely Likely is Squabble Up from GNX. This one just plays very, very well for a halftime show. I think this one is also very popular. I think Kendrick would choose this song because I think it has a good mix of where it's accessible, but also I think like it is a song that I think Kendrick would want to perform at the halftime show. I think it just fits sort of the vibe of what I think his vision is going to be for this halftime show. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. And yeah, I just think this one is happening. Squabble Up's definitely happening. So all the ones so far, you know, obviously the last couple tiers, I think those songs are going to be there. But these next tier list is called Guaranteed. I would bet, you know, I almost don't want to say it, but I'd bet everything I got. I'm saying it. I'd bet everything. It's guaranteed. Everything I got in my life. These tracks are going to be performed at a halftime show. These two, I can guarantee you, will be at the halftime show. The first song I can guarantee you is called TV Off, you know, off of GNX. This song was made for the Super Bowl. I mean, in this track, Kendrick references performing at the Super Bowl. It basically is about Drake turning the TV off to not watch the Super Bowl halftime show. It's like super petty and super funny, and I fucking love it. He's got some lines in here that reference, hey, I'm going to be in New Orleans, you know, walking into New Orleans with the etiquette of LA. He's got that at the end of the track. And obviously the mustard line is just popped off. So I think this track's gonna absolutely 100% be at the halftime show. And not only that, I think DJ Mustard might show up. I think it's possible. It's possible they just says the Mustard line and Mustard's not there, but it would be a little more awkward. It'd be less awkward if he said that and then Mustard comes out of the smoke or something on the stage. That shit would be sick. And the last track I got in the guaranteed gonna be at the halftime show is Not Like Us. I have zero doubt in my mind that Kendrick's gonna perform the song for a couple reasons. One, obviously his biggest hit from last year, Obviously, with the context around Drake. And I think this is sort of Kendrick's victory lap here. You know, he obviously performed this track many times at his pop-out show last year. And I think that Kendrick would almost be disappointed if he couldn't perform this song. And I don't think anyone's going to stop him from performing this song. Because goddamn, man, he wants that last victory lap. I mean, this truly is like the last fucking like possible victory lap he can take with the Kendrick and Drake beef before it kind of starts to get like, all right, man, we get it. You know what I mean? Because at this point, it's been almost a year. You know, it's kind of like, okay, you really can't ride this too much longer. But like, this is the chance, man. This is it. The final victory lap, performing it in front of the biggest audience you could have on TV. It's happening, man. So you guys let me know if there's any tracks that I missed, any tracks that you think I didn't mention that have a chance or somewhat chance being performed at the halftime show. Maybe songs that you'd like to see as well. I'm hyped to see this, man. I think it's going to be a great show. And I can't wait to see how right I am, how wrong I am. Like I said, I got a whole Spotify playlist with most of these tracks, the ones that I think are likely to be performed at the halftime show. So go give that playlist a spin. And, you know, I'll catch you all on the next one.